Welcome back to the channel. As today we're looking ahead at the NFL season with the NFL draft now in the rear view, talking about candidates for offensive rookie of the year. I'm going to give you 10 guys today along with a sleeper pick, but what's crackin' It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice beautiful football discourse. I got a way too early 2024. Yeah, I said that right. Mock draft out on the channel. It's 2 rounds, so if you want to get a nice summer watch list, that's a great way to start. But let's go ahead, get into this sucker with my sleeper, DEWAYNE McBride out of UAB. He was a 7th round selection by the Minnesota Vikings, and kind of a long shot here. That's why he's a sleeper. Depending on what happens with Dalvin Cook, does he get moved? Does he get cut? Does he stay on the team? But even then, they brought back Alexander Madison. He has Ty Chandler realistically in front of him. The former Iowa State running back. He's more of a special teams return man guy. So like I can see if Cook gets moved, like even then McBride's probably 3rd on the totem pole at best, but injuries can happen or he could get pushed up. I know fumbles were a big concern with him in college, and I mean if he could show ball security, man, this was a guy that a lot of people had as like running back in their running back top 5 or top 7. So if he can sneak up the depth chart, man, he might be someone to watch out for. So that's why I'm listing him here as a sleeper. But let's go ahead, get into number 10, Sam Laporta. He was drafted in the 2nd round with Detroit's first 2nd round pick out of Iowa. And this big reason he's at 10 is because how tight end just wasn't utilized for the Lions. But even then, like Ben Johnson had plays like drawn up for TJ Hawkinson. Obviously not last year, they moved on from him via trade, but you gotta ask, man, how active is he gonna be in this offense? And I think it kind of favors that he could be a big slot as well. I think maybe his blocking or lack thereof blocking prowess might keep him off the field because it's a team that's going to want to run a ton when they have Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Gibbs might be a name you hear later down the list, but he makes the list here because what he can do after the catch. 24 missed tackles, was first among tight ends among the draft class. So definitely no one to scoff at once he gets the ball in his hands. Watch out, but gotta include him here. Next on the list is Jonathan Mingo. He was drafted in the 2nd round by the Carolina Panthers, and he's a big freak, quite literally. This dude is stupid athletic, great size. I'm just curious how long till he really gets into the started lineup, because he is going to be battling out with guys like Adam Thielen, DJ Chark. I mean, I think those 2 guys are for sure starters. Then you got to ask, okay, Terrace Marshall, how involved does he get? They got Laviska Shenault Jr. as well. Then they'll probably bring in guys like Shi Smith as a slot, but even then, you're really dipping on the depth chart. But if he could end up being a big contributor year 1 with Bryce Young, and if Bryce Young is as good as I think he is, you'll see him later on the list. Then like Mingo could have a big season. I mean, they used a high 2nd round pick on him, so they certainly expect at least a little bit of contribution from him. So we'll see. I'm kind of excited because I like to pull a few guys that aren't just 1st round picks. Not necessarily left field picks, but have some validity to why they can maybe sneak into the whole rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year conversation. Next on the list, I have DEVON ACHANE. My Miami Dolphins drafted him in the 3rd round. Fins up, baby. Fins up. And he's going to be stuck on the depth chart, and like opportunity, like you want to go with opportunity. If you're going to be making these bets at the beginning of the year, your opportunity and projected volume kind of play, some would say, a huge part. And he is stuck behind Mike McDaniel, guys, in Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert. But it's, I mean, ACHANE's exactly what Mike McDaniel loves. He loves speed. He loves speed. Like this cat's a home run threat whenever he touches the ball. He's a good enough receiver, I think, to see the field relatively soon, early on. You could also make a case that he has return capabilities, which he does. I wonder who's returning kicks for the Dolphins nowadays. Oh yeah, they brought in Braxton Berrios. Ooh, maybe ACHANE could sneak into there. Wow, I didn't notice the Dolphins picked up Christopher Brooks out of BYU as a UDFA. I liked him in the Hula Bowl. I really did. He's a big back though, big boy, and he runs 4.58. So, don't know how much Mike McDaniel loved that. Don't know how much he loved that though, but I really think there might be a good case that ACHANE could get into that discussion. I just kind of worry about the volume, how much and how often is he gonna really eat. Next here on the list, we have Jackson Smith-Njigba. Now we get to guys who might actually see some serious volume. He is gonna be their slot. He's basically gonna take over from D. Eskridge, who struggled with injuries and such. They also got Derek Young, but he's probably a better special teamer, or more so of a special teamer. And I really think JSN, man, they got a great pick here. The question is, they have a lot of mouths to feed in that offense, like between DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. You still have Noah Fant, not that he's going to be eating a ton, but you also look to the backfield with Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet. There's just so many mouths to feed. But when you're looking at, okay, they invested highly in him, and he's gonna play some sort of role. He's another guy that can really create after the catch. You kind of want to look at those guys who can be those like force missed tackle machines, and I think he really can. So that's why I include him here on the list. Matter of fact, I think he is currently the third bet-in favorite when it comes to offensive rookie of the year. But now going to number 6, I got Jordan freaking Addison. He is currently sitting where? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, he's 7th in the betting market at plus 1,600. But I think actually probably has a better chance of eating than Jackson Smith-Njigba. I mean, we're going to go take a look. They got Justin Jefferson. And honestly, that's about it. Like, KJ Osborne was a bit hot and cold. They do have Jalen Naylor as kind of like wide receiver 4, which I think that's a great role for him. TJ Hawkinson's going to be eating. So if anything, I think he's probably like going to be the third most fed target there among the receivers. You still got Dalvin Cook in tow there, so like he'll play a little bit in the passing game, but I really think Jordan Addison, they used a high pick on him. Justin Jefferson, we saw some games where Justin Jefferson would just kind of disappear just because there wasn't a viable target outside of him, and I think Addison's really going to come and help in that regard. And because of Justin Jefferson just being freaking Justin Jefferson, that Addison could really, really eat, and that's why I got him at number 6. Number 5, though, I got CJ Stroud. Quarterbacks that are drafted highly, they're typically safe bets to be, at the very least, top contenders at this, so I would be foolish not to include some of the quarterbacks. Fun fact, you're going to see 2 more on this list. But CJ Stroud, it's going to be tough for Stroud. He's currently the 4th bet-in favorite at plus 700. But it's just offensively, it's going to be tough for him. It's not like he's got a ton of weapons. John Mechie will return, which that's a great story there. Robert Woods, Nico Collins. They drafted Xavier Hutchinson, Tank Dell. Still not a ton of great options there. Dalton Schultz, though, I think will help things out, but I think this team is still going to be very much try to run the football, establish the run. I don't think they're going to veer too much in that regard. They did last year. You're going to be getting a different blocking scheme, though, and I mean, they got a very good offensive line with guys like Laramie Tunzel, Titus Howard. They brought in Shaq Mason. Hopefully Kenyon Green can take that next step. Last year was kind of rough for him, but hopefully he takes that next step. He's a guy that they invested a pick 15 in the 2022 NFL draft at. They also drafted in the second round this year Juice Scruggs, so try to complete that offensive line. So I imagine the run game is going to play a big stinking factor there. But Stroud, I think probably among at least the 3 quarterbacks I included on this list, probably he's in the... Yeah, I think it's pretty close to say he's in the worst situation in terms of his playmakers and such. And then number 4, I have Jahmyr Gibbs. This is where he lands on the rankings here for me. They used the 12th pick on him. He's going to be very involved, even with David Montgomery there. Both, I think, are going to eat, but I think Gibbs is going to eat more. He offers a bit more in the passing game, but, I mean, like, low-key, like, David Montgomery ain't bad in the passing game. Like, he's not bad. Like, he's a guy that forces a lot of forced missed tackles. Like, that's going to be a scary running back duo right there. But Gibbs, I mean, he gives it to you in the return game. He's someone you could actually kick to the slot, or even you could kick him outside as a receiver. And I could get why, like, Lions fans justify the pick of Gibbs, because he's just such a dynamic weapon, and I get that, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to talk anymore about the value. He's going to be an exceptionally productive player running behind a phenomenal offensive line. I'm not going to question the stats that he's likely going to put up. So he had to make the list here. He really, really did, especially in a down wide receiver class. You weren't going to see too many receivers make the list here. All right, number 3, I have Bryce Young. I would say, I think Bryce Young could be higher. I believe he's like the second betted favorite at plus 475. It's just he kind of lacks the weapons. Like, Thielen's fine, but we know he's kind of on the downslope of his career. Right now, DJ Chark is he was banged up last year, but he's kind of a journeyman right now, journeyman vertical target. They brought in Jonathan Mingo to kind of help alleviate that. Who did they bring in at tight end? They still got Tremble, who I've always been a fan of. They got Ian Thomas, which play Tremble more. Tremble could be such a dynamic, not necessarily even a weapon, but like you could put that guy at H-back, and like you could use him in a lot more different ways. They brought in Hayden Hurst, so whoop-de-doo. But I mean, hey, like honestly, like Miles Sanders, Chuba Hubbard, Raheem Blackshear, those are pretty solid, like, weapons in the passing game in terms of the backfield. So it's not like it's a complete just wash, but I do think he is coming into a much tougher situation compared to who I'll have next on this list. But yeah, Bryce Young, number 3 for me, first overall pick. He's going to start early. And then number 2, I got Anthony Richardson, man. I'm surprised that he is currently, the betting market has him at plus 1,200, which puts him at 6th. That blows my mind, just with the mobile upside. Like, he is going to get a lot done with his legs. Like, him and freaking Jonathan Taylor are scary now with Steichen there, who, if you don't know, worked with Jalen Hurts last year and really helped develop him. And if you could expect maybe some similar things, like he's going to be deadly in the RPO game. He's got good downfield weapons in Alec Pierce, who's a sneaky fast big receiver. He has Michael Pittman, who is just an extremely consistent vertical receiver at the catch point. Like, I believe back in a few years ago, he only had like one drop among contested catches. He was like 27 or 28. It was some ludicrous number like that. But they also add Josh Downs, so he's got someone to dump off underneath. He's got big tight ends who have big catch radiuses, and Mo Alley Cox, Jelani Woods. So it's like there's an environment. He's got one of the better offensive lines in football. I think they're going to crack back after kind of a middling year last year. I think they're going to bounce back. Who did they add at guard that I really liked? Because Wolf Freeze, I don't even think he's on. Oh no, he's still on the team. Oh, they did add a guard. That sucks. Wolf Freeze is easily the weakest spot of that line. They brought in Blake Freeland as a swing guy. Man, really should have got a guard. See, I remember that and Blake Freeland. That's who I was thinking of. But not at guard. He ain't playing guard. He ain't got the anchor for that. No sirree. But yeah, I thought Anthony Richardson, out of the quarterbacks, I think just in terms of what he might be capable of with his tools, had to be number 2 on this list. But no one else was going to be number 1. But Bijan Robinson, he is the bet-in favorite at plus 300. He is going to eat. He's going to get fed. We saw what happened when you took a third. Was Tyler Algier a third rounder? He was a third rounder to me. Tyler Algier. But something tells me he was a 5th. Yeah, he was a third rounder to me. But yeah, no, he went in the 5th round. Dude had a really good rookie season. I had Algier on my last year when I did my offensive rookie of the year candidates. He was like 10 or 9 on my list because I was like, dude, Arthur Smith, man, he wants to run the football and he does a hell of a good job doing it. Bijan, he's gonna be running behind a very good offensive line there for Atlanta. They brought back Caleb McGarry, who was one of the best run blocking tackles last season. They added Matthew Bergeron, who's going to be playing guard, and I like that. Chris Lindstrom, low-key, might be the best guard in football right now. Jake Matthews has been very fine. It's really Drew Dalman there at center. You're kind of like, okay, you're the weakest part of the line, but it's fine. It's fine. And like Bijan, he just brings more to the passing game than Algier. It's just kind of curious, maybe how much does Cordero Patterson kind of play into that or eat into that? But yeah, man, Bijan had to be number 1. It was the easiest pick to make in my life. It was basically, okay, Bijan, now what do I see for the rest of this list? But let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing as always. Until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.